Welcome back, Focus Learners. In this explainer, we're diving straight into the ultimate balancing act of modern business automation. Our goal today is absolutely clear. We're going to figure out how to maximize the immense, almost intimidating power of AI workflows, but do it while mastering strict token efficiency. You know, it's all about what happens when you try to scale up your operations without letting your back-end costs completely spiral out of control. We've got some truly fascinating source material to unpack today, bridging that gap between wild automation dreams and the real-world constraints you need to actually pull them off. So let's just get right to it.
So what if AI could run your entire business backend? It's a pretty tantalizing question, right? The limitless potential of custom AI workflows means we can now automate practically anything. We're talking everything from initial client outreach all the way to final deliverable generation. But there's an invisible threat lurking right beneath the surface of these massive builds, and that is hidden token costs. Think about it. Every single time your AI does something amazing, whether it's writing code, drafting a proposal, or sending an email, it is spending your tokens. And without the right strategy in place, your budget can vanish literally overnight, turning what should be a brilliant operational upgrade into a massive financial drain.
Okay, here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the AI automation frontier. Second, building realistic voice agents. Third, the threat of context rot. And finally, number 4, mastering token optimization. Starting off with Section 1, the AI automation frontier, automating proposals and workspaces.
Look, the days of manually copying and pasting meeting notes are officially over. Just imagine a completely seamless workflow powered by NN. You finish a discovery call and Fireflies automatically captures the entire transcript. Done. Now, instead of a human spending hours parsing through those notes, a Slack message simply pops up asking for your approval to generate a proposal. If you give it the thumbs up, an autonomous AI agent takes that raw transcript, extracts the specific client pain points, analyzes what deliverables were requested, and drafts a highly tailored proposal. And then, for the grand finale, it sends a payload directly to the Gamma API to generate a beautifully formatted, client-ready slide deck. It literally transforms a raw, unstructured, rambling conversation into a polished, persuasive presentation in just minutes. And it requires absolutely nothing more from you than a single click of approval in Slack.
And you can say goodbye to those clunky, token-heavy API connections that seem to break every single time an endpoint changes. Enter the open-source Google Workspace Command Line Interface, or GWS CLI. Now, for those of you who might not be developers, think of a command line interface as just a way to bypass visual menus and talk directly to the computer's core system. So by giving an AI agent like Claude Code access to this CLI, it's essentially sitting at your terminal typing commands. It can search your entire Google Drive, it can draft and fully format Google Docs, read complex Sheets data, and even manage your calendar instantly using bash commands. It essentially gives the AI the ability to run your Google Workspace like a senior developer sitting right next to you at your desk, knocking out tasks in seconds that would usually require a total maze of complex software integrations.
Moving on to Section 2, building realistic voice agents. The 11 Labs integration. Deploying lifelike voice agents that can handle direct client interactions over the phone or right there on your website relies on 4 core pillars. First up is the persona. This is defined by a strict system prompt, basically telling the AI exactly how to behave, what tone to use, even when to pause. Next is the voice itself. And honestly, this can even be a highly realistic custom clone of your own voice. Third is the knowledge base. Now, grounding the agent in your real company data is absolutely critical here. When an AI is speaking live with a potential client, you simply cannot afford hallucinations, right? The knowledge base ensures the agent only pulls from approved, vetting facts instead of just making up company policies on the fly. And finally, and honestly most importantly, are the tools. You can connect your agent to external tools like cal.com, which allows the AI to check your real-time availability and seamlessly book an appointment right onto your calendar while it's actively chatting with a client. It's wild.
Which brings us to Section 3, the threat of context rot. The hidden cost of automation.
Now, these powerful builds we just talked about are incredible, but they introduce a pretty harsh reality. You can think of context rot as an invisible leak in your ship. It is effectively AI dementia. AI operates within a specific context window, and as your conversation or coding session grows longer and fills up that window, well, the model's attention gets spread way too thin. It gets distracted, it starts making sloppy errors, ignores your explicit instructions, and will even blatantly contradict itself. Basically, the longer you let a session run unchecked, the worse the AI performs. And the truly insidious part of this whole thing? You are paying more for that degraded performance, because every single word in that expanding window is costing you tokens.
If you take just one thing away from this explainer today, let it be this staggering number.
98.5%. That is the amount of tokens that can be wasted in long sessions by simply rereading the old conversation history. Just let that sink in for a second. Every single time you send a new prompt, the AI doesn't just read your new sentence. No, it has to reread everything from message 1 all over again just to understand the current state of the chat. Your token costs don't just add up, they compound exponentially. So message 30 could cost you 31 times more than message 1, just to reread what you've already discussed. It is a massive financial drain, completely hidden in plain sight.
And testing proves that having a larger context window isn't automatically better. In fact, when you test retrieval accuracy, which just means how well the AI can actually find a specific needle of information within the haystack of data you've given it, that accuracy drops significantly as the window fills up. At a 256,000 token context limit, accuracy is actually quite high, hovering right around 92%. But if you push that up to a massive 1 million tokens, the accuracy falls sharply to 78%. So just because you have a 1 million token limit available to you doesn't mean you should ever actually try to fill it. Stuffing a context window leads directly to degraded output.
Okay, let's take a brief fun palate cleanser before we fix this heavy problem. Did you know Claude Code actually added an April Fool's Tamagotchi-style virtual pet that lives directly inside your terminal? It's this fantastic little Easter egg. If you use the /buddy command, you can hatch a pet based on your specific user ID. You might get a common turtle, or if you're in the lucky 1%, a legendary robot. It basically just chimes in with snarky comments and little reactions while you code your automation workflows. But crucially, and this is exactly why we love it, it costs absolutely 0 tokens to run. It operates entirely locally for the fun interface, meaning it has 0 impact on your context limit and, more importantly, 0 impact on your wallet.
All right, back to business. Section 4, Mastering Token Optimization, the Scale and Save Playbook.
The foundational habit you absolutely must build is this golden rule: clear your context between unrelated tasks. Do not carry context about Project A into a fresh conversation about Project B. You should be manually compacting your sessions or using a clear command the moment you hit around 60% of your context capacity. Basically, treat your context like an active workspace. When a task is done, wipe the board clean. Practically speaking, this means having the AI generate a quick, condensed summary of the work you've completed so far, closing that chat completely, and then pasting that summary into a brand new, empty session. This prevents you from paying to reread thousands and thousands of words of already completed work.
Next up, we have to talk about optimizing the files you actually feed your AI. Never, and I mean never, drop a raw PDF or HTML file into a prompt if you can avoid it. Converting an HTML file to plain Markdown removes all the useless layout formatting and reduces your token usage by a staggering 90%. PDFs drop by up to 70%, and standard Word documents drop by about 33%. By stripping away all that visual layout noise, you are giving the AI only the raw text it actually needs to process. This simple formatting trick allows you to fit 3 times more useful content into the exact same space. And hey, if you happen to have a random, off-topic question mid-task, just use a by-the-way command, like /btw in Claude Code, so your quick side question doesn't permanently clutter up the ongoing conversation history. Now, this right here is a brilliant instruction to hard code directly into your system prompts or your project instructions, like a Claude.md file, for instance. Do not make any changes until you have 95% confidence in what you need to build. This simple little line effectively forces the AI into what we call plan mode. The absolute biggest waste of tokens is letting the AI write 1,000 lines of code or draft an entire 50-page proposal heading down the completely wrong path, only for you to have to scrap the whole thing and start over. By forcing the AI to ask you follow-up questions and clarify its assumptions until the plan is perfect, you ensure that when it finally executes, it does so efficiently and accurately on the very first try.
For massive tasks, you really need to rely on session chaining and sub-agents. Think of it kind of like a corporate assembly line. Don't force your most expensive, smartest AI model to do all the tedious high-volume reading. Instead, spin up a cheaper, faster model like Claude Haiku to act as a research intern for the initial discovery phase. It reads through the mountains of raw data and then outputs a clean, condensed summary. You then pass that summary up the chain to a smarter model like Opus for complex planning and architectural decisions. Finally, you take that finalized, perfected plan into a fresh session with your main execution model, like Sonnet, for the actual build. It's a highly structured approach that keeps context incredibly fresh, divides the labor optimally, and most importantly, keeps your costs incredibly low. Which brings us to the ultimate question you need to ask yourself as you build out these AI workflows. Are you truly maximizing your tools, or are you just lazily filling up your context window? Unlocking true scale in your business isn't about just throwing money at a massive million-token limit. It's about applying power user token constraints, maintaining relentless context hygiene, and building smart, lean assembly line systems. If you can constrain the AI, you can direct its immense power exactly where it needs to go. Master your tokens, and you master your automation. That is all for this explainer. Keep learning, keep building, and we'll see you next time.